Appreciate it, man.
So good morning or good night, depending on where you are, and welcome to another interview of The Shield Doing a Couch. Tonight, I'm joined by two members of the band Reeking Aura. They're a death metal band, I think from the New Jersey, New York area, correct?
Pretty much, yeah. New York, New Jersey.
Nice. And I have Rick, who's the guitar player, and I have Will, the singer. And you guys, first of all, good night. How are you guys tonight?
Well, how's it going, man? Thanks for having us. We're doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty well.
Thank you, Hector. Yeah, it's nice to meet you, and I appreciate it, man. I'm doing good, and I appreciate the support, man.
No, of course. I heard about your band because Greg Rossi from Drifting to Black, I interviewed him a few months ago. So he sent me a message through Facebook like, hey, check out these guys. He did the visualizer for one of the songs on the album, which I saw the visualizer. It's pretty
cool. Yeah. He did both of them, actually. He did the two singles that we did. He's really good with that stuff.
He's a very talented guy, and he told me check them out. I'm like, sure, if you're letting me to check them out, I'll go ahead and check them out. So I checked out the album called Blood and Bone Meal, and this just came out last Friday. So it's a pretty, it's death metal, but it can be brutal, but it has also melodies to it. So, because sometimes there's death metal that's brutal all the time, but you could, there's some great solos on it that sound kind of clean. And for example, that song, Pyramid Shaped Plow and The Caretaker, the part where it's The Caretaker, it's more instrumental, it's more atmospheric, and it goes into the album closer. So I thought that was cool. So I know that the band, you signed to the record label Profound Lore. How did that came about with the record to get on that record label?
Well, in this particular instance, there are 6 people in this band. So Ryan Lipinski, who is the guitar player and for this album, the main songwriter, he's one of the guitar players, 3 guitar players. Ryan and also Will have had previous dealings with the owner of Profound Lore. With their bands have been on Profound Lore in the past, so it was kind of easier to get their attention when I started speaking to the owner of the label. Hey, I got a new band with guys you might know, and he was interested immediately. So we had a dialogue from the very beginning of the band, pretty much. I said, hey, we have a new band here, so he wanted to hear it. And basically, we recorded this album, and the first person we handed it to was Chris from Profound Lore, and that's it. That's how it goes.
Yeah, that sums it up. And I mean, between I used to be in the band Artificial Brain. I'm on the latest album, but I'm no longer with them. And Ryan's had various releases on Profound Lore Records, so it makes sense. That when we come together, we would want to, because you always want to work with someone you have a history with, who you can trust, who you've done good business with. And I got nothing but good things to say about Profound Lore Records. So we were just, we were really good that we came up with something that he wanted to put his stamp on and stand behind with us. So it was kind of just like a natural progression from what we've been doing, really.
No, nice. And yeah, it makes sense to align with a record company that has the band's vision in mind. I love your pothead teacup.
My mom got me this, man, actually, as a Christmas present one year.
Nice. Man. So you're keeping it light, because I saw your other interview and you guys were drinking beer, but since it's Monday.
Well, I mean, we imbibe in our leaf, our herbal goodness.
We're big leaf blowers.
Yeah, we smoke a lot of pot, so basically,
there's nothing wrong with that, Like right now, like if you think about it, like a pot being legal in more places, like it actually, cigarette smoking does more harm to you.
Yeah, alcohol does more harm.
Alcohol,
to you. Like, how many lives have you seen being ruined? From marijuana smoking. I smoke every day. I mean, I'm not the.
You're not gonna overdose. No one's gonna say.
Right. Overdose. I go to work every day. I don't beat my wife. You know what I mean? All these things that alcoholics might lean towards doing. I don't do it.
You just get supremely
happy and hungry. and hungry, and I want to pick up my guitar.
Oh, I remember in 2005, I went to Amsterdam for 5 days, which was too long. I was high the whole fucking week.
Right. You gotta go there 2 days, 3 days, maybe, right?
Yeah, no, but it's Amsterdam. Amsterdam is a very I don't know if you guys been, but it's a very interesting place because it's like a playground for adults.
Right.
You have the red
I've
lights
heard, yeah.
district. Then you can wake up at 8 a.m. and people offering you drugs at that hour. I'm like, dude, it's 8 fucking a.m. in the morning.
Well, I
But
mean, listen,
yeah.
I wake up in the morning. The second I roll out of bed, there's a bowl right next to me. You know what I mean? So I can't talk. I can't talk.
Nice.
That's
So
how-
when
that's how
you're
it's
when you're
function.
writing songs or riffs, do you find it that like the weed helps you creatively?
Well, I mean, there's very rare times when I'm all right. If we're being honest here, I'm stoned most of the time. I'm stoned, when I'm writing. So yes, it helps. It helps a lot. It helps me with many things, not just writing. So without that shit, I don't know, it would be a bad situation. So the album was basically written probably by Ryan. I don't want to speak for Ryan, but it was probably written in that state, and it was definitely recorded in that state too. That entire album was recorded stoned out of our minds. So
Nice.
that's also
Allegedly.
Yeah.
But
So
it comes out all right.
Yeah. So how was the recording process for Blood and Bone Meal? Did it take a long time? How is your when you guys get together? Do you first like jam the music and then think of lyrics, or what is the process like?
Will, you want to take that one?
Well, yeah, I mean, in terms of like how long the album took to get together, to put it this way, Ryan has written. He writes like the backbones of the songs. He writes the main thing of the songs, and obviously everyone comes and nips and tucks here and there and does their own here. But Ryan's like the main songwriter up to this point, with a few exceptions. But so he came into this band with a lot of material written, and that sped things up along. But we released the 3-song EP, our first release back in March 2020. So you could probably say it's been a slow build of 2 years in terms of the writing, maybe less than 2 years, more like a year and a half in terms of like from the very beginning of the writing of the album. But what's great is what Ryan does is he kind of comes with the most of the song prepared. He's got like a sketch of the drums on, on a drum program, and he sends us files. And that way I can kind of sketch out the lyrics, what parts should go where. And by the time we all meet up in a rehearsal space, it's pretty easy to connect the dots and adjust, what each other has been, doing, so we can all coalesce together. And to answer the question about the lyrics, it's like, I pretty much try to have everything written out before I would even step in a rehearsal room with these guys, let alone a recording studio. I'll sit there, and and as the instrumentals go along, I might review it once or twice. Maybe they had a guitar solo here, so I have to remove a verse or something like that. But the lyrics and the vocals are pretty much always written like as soon as we get the files. I try to stay up to speed with these guys as they're learning their parts.
Nice. Yeah, no, and this album, it's pretty brutal. In terms, Will, of singers that inspired you growing up. I'm sure you were inspired, by those old school death metal singers, but any other type of singers that inspired you that maybe are not death metal?
Well, it's people who may have followed my work over the years might know that, like, hip hop is a big deal to me, and I always appreciated like the lyricism and the kind of competitive, multi-syllable word flows of a lot of like the great MCs, like Big Punisher and Eminem or Jay-Z or any of these guys. I've always appreciated like great wordplay, and in the same respect, I try to I'm a fairly literate person. I try to read a lot. I've read a lot over the years. So, I take a lot of pride in my lyrics, and I try to at least present something that I'm proud of in some regard, So, in terms of like outside death metal influences, like death metal is kind of like at this point in my life, death metal is the lens through which I see the world. So I bring my gardening hobby into death metal with Reeking Aura. I bring anything I read or am really into. It's, you know, that's, I'm going to express it somehow in one of my bands. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you know, like lyrically, I think hip hop plays a part. And I'm here right here on Long Island, so New York hardcore and Long Island hardcore has always played a big part too. Watching bands like Neglect, or well, not really watching them so much, but listening to Neglect and Cro-Mags and some of those classic old school bands I was a little young for growing up. You know, that always has something to do with it too.
Okay, yeah, no, and yeah, I know that I saw the other interview and you talked about gardening, which I thought it was interesting. Have you? There's actually a interesting book. It's not on gardening, but like on plants from Michael Pollan. I know that he was on the Joe Rogan. It's called "This Is Your Mind on Plants." It's a pretty interesting book. He touches on caffeine, opium, and I can't remember the third one. But it's all about, like, he's exploring like how we have as a society use plants from early civilization, and weed's a plant too, so how we use them. And if you think caffeine is, coffee is a very potent drug. Like for example, I stopped like drinking Coca-Cola, and now I drink more coffee because I still need the caffeine sometimes. Yeah. And I don't know if you read it, but it's a very interesting book, especially there's a part where he's talking about poppy seeds and opium, and how when he was younger, like he planted some, but he got in trouble because you couldn't plant like a certain amount of it or you would get arrested. So the book is called "This Is Your Mind on Plants."
Sounds interesting.
It's really interesting, like as much as interesting as a book about plants can be.
And it's a good choice to ditch Coca-Cola for coffee. Coffee's a lot healthier, I guess, if you gotta weigh one or the other,
Oh yeah, like it can kill you, but yeah, you need to leave it. So yeah, gardening. So it's good, Will, that you're good at gardening. I tried gardening for a week back in 2015, but what happened is me and my wife, like, we did the whole gardening thing, but we planted too many plants next to each other. So one of the plants invaded the other one, and so it lasted the whole garden that we tried to plant lasted like a week.
Oh no, man!
Yeah, sometimes you got to learn how to space certain things out, and I'm no expert. It's something that kind of like, my parents were always into. I was just turning out because you're talking about books. I don't know that
gardening
book.
for dummies.
I should look at that, but yeah, man, because there's some real basic. This is also this is one that's allegedly fun for recreational reading too.
Wow, nice.
And then this is like a old thrift store find. This is pretty good too, man. But I mean, you could look up most of this type of information on Google for basic. People should just get some buckets and drill some holes in the bottom and grow some tomatoes and peppers outside of your apartment, even, man, whatever you got.
Yeah, right.
We should do that because right now, like, it's, those fruits are expensive. And
we have 2 apple trees out in the back, and the whole problem is now we have raccoons. So you think you're growing your own apples and vegetables, you're creating some more problems, and it's just more. So it's like it's an investment in itself. But my mom's great. She makes her own applesauce. She cans and pickles all this stuff, and she's I'm trying to learn a little bit as we go along, but it's it takes a few times to stick to me.
You guys should, like, when you do the show in your merch, you should sell, besides the CDs, you should have like your gardening.
We're gonna have
stuff.
Yeah, we could have branded gardening tools.
The farmer's market.
What are those hand shovels? Those hand shovels with the little Reeking Aura logo right in the middle. That would be beautiful.
You could do a Reeking Aura, like like fruits.
A whole line of this is great.
A whole line, that would be an idea.
Trust me,
headfirst into the agricultural metal scene at this point.
I've thought about that, doing something like that with the, like pickles or something like that. But you gotta, you can't just go selling food on a table somewhere in New York State, man. You gotta.
No, I know. I'm sure you have to have
great.
lots of fucking permits and stuff.
Yeah, if I do that, the venue might get shut down and I might get a fine. I don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, no, we don't want that. So I like the name Reeking Aura. When Greg send me the name, I'm like, this has to be hard because no band can have the word reeking and sound like soft.
Right.
But the aura was interesting, because I thought there's the reeking, which is the hard part, and the aura. Aura can be nice, but a reeking aura sounds like an aura that's like
a little contradictory.
Yeah. So I think it's a cool name. It sounds very metal. So I want to show the artwork of the album that just came out this Friday for people who haven't seen it, because it's a very cool artwork and really in tune with the gardening theme. Like, because is that like there's like a horse and you can see like the plow and who did this album cover?
I might mispronounce his name, unfortunately, because I've never had the pleasure to meet him in person. Jan Karcelin. He's from Romania, I believe, right, Rick? I'm pretty sure Romania but regardless, I was looking up artists. I wanted to specifically find an artist for the cover of the album that wasn't known for doing metal album covers. I wanted to find somebody that was kind of different, and I was looking into landscapes and watercolors.
It's a difference, yeah.
I started just looking at more like commercial illustrators and artists and people who had their own websites and their own art for sale and things like that. And I started drifting through Instagram like that, and I found a few people, but they weren't they weren't willing to work with a band, or they didn't want to do this or that, and then I saw this one day and it captivated me, and I showed the rest of the guys and I explained how it goes with the lyrics a little bit, and the kind of like farmer guy and the livestock and the little hut, and I think everybody saw my vision, luckily, which is a great thing about this band, is that it's my four of us were in Buckshot Facelift together for years and years together. I know the bass player Tom since we were kids, and Ryan and Sam, our drummer, everyone, we're just on the same page with a lot of shit, so things kind of flow very smoothly in terms of like the artistic vision. So I saw this and I contacted Jan, and we bought the artwork from him. There was a little, it actually, if I'm not mistaken, I think it went between, I think he's based out of England now. That's why I was a little unsure, or I was a little unsure where he was from, but regardless, people can look him up. His name's on the album and in the credits and everything. But regardless, it flew to the United States and back twice because our postal system here in the United States, I didn't get any kind of slip or any notification or anything, but apparently it was like, in the post office in my town, went back to Europe and then came back and was shipped to Ryan. We finally got it and we couldn't be happier with it. And it's, obviously I think it's got a different color scheme than most extreme metal albums and most, like,
it does, actually, when I looked metal albums. When I looked at the cover at first before listening to the music, I thought, I wonder, like, maybe it's like a folk metal, or because, you have the colors. So it is a different album color that definitely stands out, because when you think death metal, you think of like skeletons and like other hard shit. So it is different, but different is good. It makes it stand out, because
I'm just afraid now everyone's going to go hire this guy to make their album covers. So we want to say right now, that's our boy right there. So stay away. Nah, I'm just kidding. It's more business for him, but you know what I'm saying.
It's a
I like it because it has the oil paintings. I really, besides music, I love art. So I like, sometimes it's important because, like you said, the theme, like it goes with the themes in the album. Lyrically in the album, what besides farming, like what themes do you cover in the album?
Feelings of isolation and depression and anger and feelings of betrayal, even like maybe you might say like megalomaniacal feelings, delusions of grandeur. I mean, the whole album is a concept about someone who's alone, kind of on a very kind of rural agricultural type of space, like is, you know, portrayed on the cover. And you know, we talk about burying roadkill. There's, you know, it's a very the lyrics are very graphic. I take a lot, you know, I take pride in my lyrics personally. I don't know if anyone else enjoys them, but you know, that's what I do. And I took a great pain to make them very soylent, and I wanted you to, like Reeking Aura, I want you to smell the story that I'm portraying, you know. And it is born probably of, like, you know, my own fascination with these, you know, with the outdoors and different things that you do in terms of, like, you know, quote unquote homesteading and farming and things like that. And there's certain family history of mine that goes back on Long Island in terms of farming. So, you know, it's a cultural thing for me in a way too. In my family, my father still wears ripped up overalls and talks about farmers on Long Island that ended up millionaires, but still, you know, walked around barefoot and things like that. So, you know, it's kind of like a legend almost, you know, in my family or something too, the farmer, the agricultural type of thing. So, and then all that also with my lifelong fascination with horror movies and science fiction and death metal. You know, like I said before, by the death metal is almost like the lens through which I see the world, through art and everything. So that's where we end up, right back there. That's how it is, you know. So, and you know, like there's a lot of real death in the lyrics. I'll say that. I mean, you know, I lost a close family member, and then right around the time, I won't get into coincidence or not, or, you know, but there was two cats that I'd been taking. You know, there's a lot of feral cats around here and everything that died, and it's a, you know, you just kind of anytime you're dealing with the outdoors and dealing with wildlife, and like I said, you know, we got vermin, we got pests, you know, pest wildlife that comes by and destroys your quote unquote crops or whatever you're growing. It's, you know, a lot of that interplay between nature and you know, that's kind of just what went into the lyrics, man. A little bit of everything, so to speak, I guess.
Yeah, you took inspiration from different things. So talking about horror movies, like which is your favorite horror movie ever?
That is a tough question. The first one that springs to mind, and my classic go-to answer, is the Italian film Demoni, aka Demons.
I haven't seen that one.
Demons
is,
1. Yeah.
Demons 1. Yeah, because there's a sequel too.
Demons 2 with Tony. That guy Tony's the shit, man. Tony Demons is the shit, man.
Great movies with great soundtracks. The first one, the original one, has a really cool 80s heavy metal hard rock soundtrack. And the second one veers more into like new, you know, cool kind of gothic new wave type of music that was cool. And like there's like, just for the soundtrack alone and the moody atmosphere, and then like sheer gore, they're really good movies. I mean, they have a similar premise to your classic zombie movie, but it's more of a demonic thing, man. Yeah, those are I would say definitely Demons, man. Rick, what would you say, man?
Well, I'm not a big fan of the pictures, you know what I mean? But you know, I'm partial to The Exorcist because my cousin is William Peter Blatty. Was William Peter? He just passed away 2 years ago. My grandmother's cousin, so he's in my family. The guy that wrote The Exorcist. So that one I'm a little bit partial towards. But
you know, I never knew that. Knew that. I'm learning that for the first time.
Yeah, we're learning it here.
Yeah. I have. Well, my dad has Exorcist 3. He didn't have anything to do with Exorcist 2, the piece of shit movie that is. Exorcist 3 was actually good.
I don't remember Exorcist 2.
I don't even. I think I saw it once when I was young, but it was terrible.
I remember the first one, and I went.
The first one's the real, you know, the real deal one. Then the third one is with George C. Scott, and Blatty wrote that one and directed it. So it was more. He was returning to The Exorcist for that one. It was pretty good. And my father has an autograph book, the novel that was Legion. It was called. So yeah, he passed away. He was like almost he was in his 90s when he passed away. But that movie didn't scare me. I don't get scared by movies, and the movies don't scare me or anything like this. Reality scares me. You understand? But so the only movie that put me in a state of fear when I saw it the first time was 28 Days Later.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
That was the only movie that ever fucked me up while watching it, just because, like, you put yourself in that scenario, and it was like it was one of the first like zombie, fast running zombie things, and then it all exploded and everything was doing the 28 days later thing. But that one, there was a scene where he was like changing a tire in a tunnel, and then you can see the shadows and all, and that I had to pause that shit. I was like, holy shit, I couldn't imagine what that was like. But yeah, so
you know what?
28 days later.
That kind of like claustrophobic feeling, and not that I didn't pause it, Rick. I didn't go there, but that movie, The Descent, about the women that go down in the caves and there's kind of vampire creatures in it. I learned, one of my friends who's a real horror movie guy told me you got to watch the United Kingdom edition or whatever, because the American version is edited down. But yeah, the Descent did that to me, because the claustrophobic feeling, more of that than the monsters, man.
Right.
Yeah. Wow, William Peter Blatty's related to Rick. And isn't Sal from Gray Skies Falling, isn't he related to one of the Backstreet Boys or something?
Yeah, he's related to NSYNC member Joe Fatone.
Who's related to Joe Fatone?
I have another band called Gray Skies Falling, and the drummer from that band, who was also in Buckshot Facelift, with us, me and Will, he has a cousin, Joe Fatone, who was in NSYNC.
Oh, I remember him.
And I always used to hear, because Sal has been in Gray Skies for 20 years. So, when he's a young guy, he's, my cousin will get us signed. We'll get on Sony Records. I was like, dude, what are you talking about? Stop it.
Yeah. So, unless your cousin was Justin Timberlake.
Right. Somebody that,
But like Joey Fatone, come on, I
think he's hosting
he's not the most remembered one from that band.
I think he's a TV star now. He makes his living being an entertainer on a television or something.
Yeah, it's good for him.
Exactly. I wish I could do that, man. I could be honest with you. I wish I could make money doing some other shit besides what I do for a living.
So going back to the album, what was the most difficult song that you worked on, and why?
I don't know. I mean, difficult. So in the terms of, like we said, Ryan basically hands us the songs and we learn them. And I wrote one of the songs on the album. So I didn't really, and he sends a tablature too. So he basically sends us what we need, and the three guitar players, we all learn our part. We all embellish our parts and add what we got to add. So nothing really came off difficult as far as, personally, I had neck surgery a few years ago, so I'm a little weak with nerve damage in my arms, and I'm all fucked up. So sometimes playing fast can hurt, for lack of a better term. So I think in the studio, I kind of locked up a little bit in my arm. So yeah, as far as difficult, I don't remember what song it was, but yeah, that can take an effect on me, because I'm getting old and I'm having some health issues with my spine and shit, or I had. So it all adds up. But let me think. There was there's not really difficult to play per se.
Yeah, but maybe it was harder, like you were stuck on, or maybe making it work with the lyrics. There's always a song that's
I mean,
trouble.
There was definitely, I remember sitting in the studio going over and over a couple parts that I couldn't quite nail or whatever, but I don't remember exactly anything particular. That's how I am in the studio sometimes. It takes me a little while, but it gets done.
When he says that's how I am in the studio, he means stoned.
Yeah. Oh, look at the pretty colors, and then instead of playing,
that's funny. So I know that you guys are doing a record release on September, and I have you don't have to, I know in the other interview you had to look for the flyer, but I have it here.
Oh, very cool. Thank you. Yeah.
So this is the flyer for the show. It's gonna be at 1 p.m. because if you haven't woken up, you'll definitely wake up at 1 p.m. when you listen to this band play.
This is gonna be great. It's like Saturday on Long Island. You wake up, you get yourself like a bacon, egg and cheese, or bagel, one of the two, or both, whatever you got to do, and then you roll in late. You can wear your pajama pants to this establishment. It's fine. And then the beautiful part, we got Morbid Deity, Doom Creeper, and what's the logo
one
on
at the bottom? I can't
Ninth Realm.
Yeah. Thank you, Rick. So
I'm trying to read what it says, but they make it so fucking hard. when
Oh,
they
yeah.
put
Well, that is
like,
death metal for you.
yeah, like sometimes it's cool, but sometimes like fuck, I wanna read what the band name is, and you're making it fucking impossible for
It's
me
the blood
to.
incantation logo too. You know, that's
Yeah, like have you seen that meme where there's like a tree, and then
yes,
you say
yeah.
like there's a death metal,
Is the
there's a
new death
logo,
metal
there's a
logo.
name right there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
so
kind of we wanted to take the opposite route with our logo. A little bit
Yeah,
more-
we
it
actually
looks metal, but you can read the fucking name of
we
the
hired
band.
we hired a guy named John Zig to
Yeah.
do that logo for us, and we love that logo.
That's a cool
And I remember when we were commissioned him to do the logo, we asked him some of the bands we gave him influence of logos. I told him Venom and Celtic Frost. We would use things like that, and this is what he came up with. So we were
Yeah,
happy.
it kind of looks like that Celtic Frost, like the way
Right.
the letters are put, that you can fucking read what it says on the name. So yeah, it looks pretty cool. So if you guys had to do, would you ever do like a cover song of a pop song in your style?
Fuck yeah.
I would love
Yeah.
to. Yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Maybe call Joey Fatone. And like, hey, Joey, can we do like a bye bye bye, but in
Oh
death
my
metal?
Lord. No. I'm more of an 80s guy, you know. So
Yeah.
you give me any of these 80s songs. Like today I was in the supermarket buying my chickens, and Easy Lover came on the PA. Philip
that's a good
Bailey and
one.
Phil Collins. You want to talk about doing Easy Lover death metal version?
That would be good.
Line me up.
Yeah, I don't know if you know. By the way, Rick, I was buying some chickens in the supermarket too, man. True story, coincidence, but great minds think alike. But Rick and I did. Rick and I, and also Terrell and Tom of Reeking Aura. Like I said, the four of us are in Buckshot Facelift, which is a little more of like a death metal grindcore type of band. We covered a Ramones song.
Yeah.
And released the EP around it several years ago. We covered Pet Cemetery. See, we're coming all back full circle with the horror movies too. But
Yeah.
we we would, I mean, I would welcome the thing. I think the thing with Reeking Aura is because we're spread out a little bit and we're busy, you know, it's tough enough to get our original songs locked in, let alone a cover song. But it would be fun.
It could happen.
No, like cover songs are cool, like especially if you like make it your own.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I can't wait to listen to Easy Lover, your version.
I'm ready.
I mean, listen, that's a great song.
Phil Collins is a great artist, you know, like
he's a sick drummer. He was, you know, a great guy. Was great
drummer, singer, and like he wrote some great songs. Like In the Air Tonight is a classic.
Yeah,
and he has some other cool songs. So on that note, before I guys let you go, because I know I have little time left, what is the one album that you can't live without?
Will, you want to take that one first?
Oh boy, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. Is it a metal album? Is it?
It doesn't have to be a metal album.
I know. I'm like thinking, what's the one album that I'm always gonna need? Regardless, man, this is crazy.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I'm trying to think of
Black Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath. That's my answer. All right, that's all right. That was tough. That was tough. But I feel like I could get through with that one.
Yeah, that's a great album. What about you, Rick?
I'm gonna go. It's one of two albums. I'm gonna have to narrow it down. I'm gonna choose My Arms, Your Hearse.
Okay.
Nice. Oh, you can go wrong with Opeth. Those are two great choices. So before I let you guys go, you know, people check out Reeking Aura. They're a newer band, and they have a great new album that just came out last Friday. If you like death metal, you'll definitely dig this. So I'm going to show the artwork one last time for people. It's called Blood and Bone Meal. So if you like death metal, if you like farming, if you like oil paintings, listen to this fucking record. It's great, you know, it's pummeling all the way through, but it also has some atmospherics, cool lyrics. So people check them out, and also go to their show at 1 p.m. If you're hungry, first go, you know, have some brunch, then go to the concert, and
a nice early brunch.
At least have 1 hour before you eat to go to moshing, because I don't think you should mosh with a full stomach.
I think Amityville Music Hall serves Bloody Marys if you like to have a Bloody Mary after your brunch or morning breakfast, at a leisurely pace. Head over to the death metal show, and then after that show, I'm playing in the evening in St. Vitus Bar in Brooklyn with Oceans of Slumber. My band Gray Skies Fallen is opening Oceans of Slumber.
That Oceans of Slumber album.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Amazing. I actually saw that band in 2018 here in Florida, and I bought the shirt from Cami. And my God, she's like, I would say right now that she's the best female vocalist in metal, hands down. Like,
yeah, I agree.
Her voice is so unique.
Awesome, he's an awesome singer. And so the new album, people bitch it's not metal or whatever. It's
I don't
really,
fucking
really
care
great.
that it's metal.
Really
I just
awesome.
think it's amazing music. Like
Yeah,
it's just so great, and it's the next step for that band.
Yeah.
Like it's so awesome that you are gonna open for that band. Yeah, I love that band, and I think
good.
Yeah, they're amazing. So I want to thank Rick and Will for taking time of your night to chat with me and talk about the album and gardening and metal and movies and all that shit. So I had lots of fun. So people, check out Reeking Aura. And until next time, this is Hector, the Shield doing a couch, and I'll see you right here on the couch.
Peace.
Thank you and good night.